Hey guys, this is Jason
This
Douglas.
is Adam MacArthur, voice of Yuji Itadori.
This is Derek Snow, the voice of Shinra Kusakabe.
This is Phil Parsons, voice of Kenny the Ripper Ackerman.
It's Merc Nguyen. You are watching Voice of the Heroes. Take it away, Fleeboy.
What's good, everybody? You know who it is and what it is. And if you don't, it's the one and only one, Fleeboy Jetson. And this is the Voice of the Heroes podcast. And if you're tuning in for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any interviews or discussions from your favorite heroes or villains from around the world. And today we got a very special guest. He's worked on so many great projects this year, like Solo Leveling, Blue Lock, Kaiju Number 8. He's also been in multiple titles like Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise, Vinland Saga, and so much more. Let's welcome Alex. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. Thank you so much for having me on and bringing me in.
Kunigama, Blue Lock, season 1. What a blast, huh? How much was it for you to play that character?
Oh, dude, it was incredible. Playing that character was just like, it was like hype every single episode and just like the most like fueled testosterone that you get in there. And then you jump into the booth and just get to be a part of the team and everything like that. Kunigami in specific was like very like, he's just very stand-up man. He's like, he wants everyone to play fair and he just wants everyone to play like a team, but that kind of conflicts with everybody else's semblance of the team because they're all in it for themselves. And Kunigami's the only one that's like, hold on, wait a minute. Let's think about this as a team. But it was so much fun, man. Like, just so many great moments.
That's amazing, man. Now, towards the end of the season, we see he gets kicked out of Blue Lock.
Yeah.
But if you read the manga, you know Kunigami is set to return, and season 2 is it's here. It's been going. So are you excited for your comeback?
I am. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if his comeback is actually going to be in season 2. I know that they have a lot of story to cover with the U20 League and all that kind of stuff. We're, at least from what I've like talked about with a lot of people that are more knowledgeable and have read more of the manga than I have, they're like, maybe season 3 it'll kind of happen. So we kind of got to ride out the rest of season 2. And I'm trying to keep up to date, but whenever season 3 comes, hopefully that'll be when Kunigami makes his comeback.
I think it'll be in at least minimum the last 4 episodes.
That would be super
cool. Like they'll give like a huge what do they call it when they drop something like not an Easter egg, but
like a cliffhanger?
Yeah, nice little cliffhanger to get you ready for season 3.
Heck yeah.
Kunigami is coming back. So I'm excited for your character to come back overall. Because it would have sucked if they would have left him off screen, man. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm excited for you. I can't wait till that comes. Now let's talk sports animes. When it's all said and done, and Blue Lock is, done, and it ranks up there with the rest of the animes. Do you think it has the potential to beat out Haikyuu?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, well, I think like Haikyuu and Blue Lock kind of like stay in the same like echelon. They're both like super popular right now, and they're both really, really good. And I'm speaking as somebody who recently started Haikyuu, or at least I went to watch one of the movies, and I was like, oh, this is hype. I love this. I got to start watching and reading this. But they're kind of in the same echelon, I feel. But a friend of mine who I've talked to, a fellow castmate, Drew Breedlove, who voices Bachira, he's like all on the know-how of like how Blue Lock is doing sales-wise and popularity-wise, and he's told me some crazy figures and numbers that the manga has outsold pretty much everything else in Japan. And it's kind of crazy on the level of popularity it's hitting. So I think if not neck and neck, Blue Lock might edge out Haikyuu just a little bit, but yeah.
Hey, shout out Drew Breedlove, man.
Yeah, shout out, man. Love you.
You think it has the possibility, and I do too, because I love the story. I love the anime so far. But let's talk about a little about the criticism of the quality in the animation of Blue Lock season 2. How do you feel about that?
I do think there are some rough bits to some of the animation. It's a weird situation where like the lighting and the colors and the illustrations are phenomenal, but like the in between, the actual animation of the characters leaves a lot to be desired. And I think I was watching it, and I don't remember if it's in like the first or second episode of the second season, but there's literally like a wipe transition during
I
like
know
one
what
of the
you're talking
matches. Yeah, and I was like, what is happening? I mean, like, I get a lot of people have like a lot of their own like personal issues with it. I'm hoping it's something that kind of like they're maybe saving the budget for animation towards like the latter half of the season, so maybe we can get some really, really nice matches in there. But I totally get it. I understand because I feel the same way.
I'm not gonna lie. See, I feel like this. I feel like if you're telling a great story, then the story could supersede the the quality of the animation. But
Mhm.
if the story is dragging and the animation isn't there, I think it does take people out of the series. So I do hope they do, like you said, pick it up in the latter half of this season, because I'm excited for Blue Lock. It's one of my favorite sport animes. Big shout out, excuse me, K Dot the God for putting me onto this anime. I've been on the train of Blue Lock ever since it's been released, and I'm super hyped for season 2. But now let's talk about some of your other projects. I seen you just somewhat started voice acting. Tell us about what inspired you to become a voice actor, and then we'll talk about some of the titles that you've been on since you landed on the scene.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, voice acting was kind of like an offshoot from just a general interest in acting that I had when I was a lot younger, and then I started doing theater in high school, and that's where the kind of love for acting was born. I think a lot of people kind of have similar stories. But then beyond that, I wanted to do like, community theater shows, musicals, all that kind of stuff. And I pursued that past high school and into college. And then in college, I was like, well, hey, look, I'm also a huge nerd. I'm a huge weeb. I love anime. I love video games, movies, cartoons, all that kind of stuff. And I always loved putting on different voices for my acting stuff. So I'm like, how do I pursue this further? I know voice acting is a profession. How do I actually pursue it? And that kind of led into a whole bunch of situations where I talked to like my college counselors, and they couldn't give me a solid answer. They didn't know. So I did my research, and I kind of just figured out that hubs for voice acting were kind of located in like 3 or 4 main spots in the country, being LA, Dallas, Texas, and kind of New York for like more commercial based type things. But yeah, that was kind of how it started. I just did my homework and research, and I was lucky enough to fall into a situation where I got to relocate from California, because I'm originally from California, to Texas. And that kind of started a whole thing. I started meeting a bunch of people, taking a bunch of classes, figuring out how the industry kind of worked down there, and luckily got my foot in the door around like 2020, 2021. And it's kind of snowballed from there. But yeah, man.
I love that for you. And
Yeah,
since you've
thank
been
you.
in the game, has any voice actors inspired you? Or do you have a Mount Rushmore of voice actors that, that you like, man, they are so good?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like, so like it's always like scattered amongst like, sometimes you'll have like actual celebrity voice talent. Like I know I can speak for a lot of voice actors and actors in general that Robin Williams was kind of like a huge inspiration to me as growing up, and just in the acting style and some of the dramatic roles he took on, but also super funny roles that he took on. I always wanted to kind of hit both levels if I could, just like he did. On the more just strict voice acting side, I'm a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. So
Oh, okay.
my Sonic voice actor was Jason Griffith when I was growing up. So he's like at top of my list. I always love Jason Griffith's stuff. And
You excited for Sonic 3?
heck yeah, man. I'm getting all my friends to go see it. I'm forcing them to see it.
I respect it.
Yeah. But aside from that, like anime wise, definitely like Chris Sabat. I mean, I know a lot of people look up to him, and
Yeah, he's a
uh
goat.
yeah, he's the GOAT, man. And like and it's always a big I don't mean to like compare myself to him, but it's always a big compliment. I've talked to a few people, they're like, "Oh man, like you've got that deep, sounding voice. You could be just like, Chris Sabat one day." And I'm like, that is like the most biggest compliment I could ask, because I just know he's the absolute GOAT and the OG. So yeah, I would say that's a pretty good selection there.
That's what's up. Growing up, what was your favorite animes?
Oh gosh, it was crazy because like I grew up when my first exposure to anime kind of was like Toonami. I feel like a lot of people that grew up in the same
Yeah,
time.
that was
Uh,
great. for
Yeah,
most of the
Toonami
people.
was the big one. So like I kind of just caught whatever I could when it was on because it was usually super late at night, and I'll be like, I'll just watch whatever this is. So like Tenchi Muyo, Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha when I could catch it. I guess I'm trying to. I mean, and then there was like the really like obvious shows like Pokemon, Digimon. Those ones always kind of hit the mark, and those were like Saturday morning for me. But gosh, yeah, I just kind of like I got thrown into the mix when I was a kid, and from there it kind of just grew. I started looking at where I could find like more anime to watch. And back in the early 2000s and the 90s, like it was hard. You had to like even when like YouTube started, you had to like find like bits of episodes or like clips of episodes, and then there's like part one, part two, part three, and all these types of things. But yeah, no, I started with the really really classic stuff on Toonami and beyond that. So yeah.
Back then when anime was coming out, it wasn't as mainstream as it is now. Now it's
Mhm.
like mainstream. It's like a huge resurgence or popularity in the culture of anime. Why do you think that is?
I think people are starting to kind of just realize that a lot about animes resonates with them, and I get what you mean. And in high school, I was always kind of afraid to say like, "Oh, I like anime," or "Oh, I like these types of things," because everyone was always like, "You like anime? That's weird. That's so out of my frame of reference. I don't even know what that is. That kind of thing." But I think anime at its best captures a lot of what we sort of aspire to. It's always usually stories about righteous heroes or protagonists that fight with their heart, believe in friendship and love, and all these things that I think at its core really resonate with the human spirit. So I think once people started watching more of that and getting exposed to that, they're like, oh no, this is actually kind of cool. And I mean, anime kind of delves into different types of things every now and then, but I think the core of some really really good series that have hit mainstream are just made up of elements that resonate with a lot of people.
Mm. Do you watch any of the animes that you work on?
I do, yeah, yeah. I try to. So it's kind of funny. I always kind of have a conversation going on with my friends who are also voice actors and other castmates, and I'm like, what's your approach? Like, do you watch the episode? Like, if you know you're going to record, do you watch the episode before you do it so you can kind of get a frame of reference for what you're going to do or how the story's going? And usually I get two answers. One answer is, oh, I don't like to watch the series until it's done because I feel like that messes with my like acting choices and stuff like that. And then there's the other answer, which I usually go to, which is like, no, I need to watch the episode. I need to know what's going on contextually so I can give my best performance. Because just to give a little blurb about how it is behind the microphone is we don't really get to watch the episode in the booth. We just get the scenes that we're in, and then
Mm.
the director will give us some context and lead up to what's going on in the scene, so we know what's going on and we can give the performance as is. But yeah, it's magic, man.
Do you feel like you're your biggest critic? Like, do you really criticize yourself when you do see the performance?
All the time, man. I will, I will habitually pull up Crunchyroll or whatever, and I'll watch like an episode as soon as it goes live, and I'll just listen to my performance, and I'm like, why did I say it like that? Why did I do it like that? But then I know that's just me being super hypercritical of myself. Like you said, we're our own worst critics, and because I'll go and ask people who don't even know me or don't know me very well, and they'll watch the episode and they're like, no, you sounded fantastic. What are you talking about, man? Like. And I'm like, I've started to kind of really take that to heart and be like, okay, relax. You are doing the best you can, and that's all people can ask of you.
You've been in some amazing titles, like I said in the intros: Solo Leveling, Blue
Mhm.
Lock, Kaiju Number 8, Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise, Vinland Saga. The list goes on and on. Since you say you watch some of your animes, what's some of your favorite titles that you've been in so far?
Definitely. I mean, all those ones you listed are really fantastic. I really wish I could have been a larger part of those shows. A lot of the shows you mentioned, I just got to kind of play like a small bit character, or a few like background stuff, some Walla for those episodes and everything like that. But obviously, Blue Lock's at the top of my list. There was a series that I got to do. I actually got to be the main lead on this past season that was called the Undead Unwanted Adventurer, and I play the main
Oh,
character.
yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot. I got that on my watch list.
yeah,
Gotta
that one
check that
was
out.
really, really good. And it was kind of a situation. I've done a couple shows like this where the whole season is out in like Japanese in the sub, and then they just decide to dub it at a certain point in the future. So the whole season's out in the Japanese, and then we started dubbing Undead Unwanted Adventure at a later point. So we did it all kind of in one go, and then we released it weekly, and it came out, and it was just it's such a good like. I feel like we're kind of in an age where we're kind of inundated and oversaturated with like isekai type titles where you like go travel to another world, you know, live in a fantasy world. But this one was unique in the sense that it didn't have anything to do with anybody traveling to another world. It was just about the lives of these people that live in this fantasy world already. So I really like that angle. And then another show that I got to do, it's in my heart of hearts, my favorite show that I got to be a part of was Higehiro, and I got to play the main guy Yoshida in that one. And that one was like super dramatic and down to earth, and it covered a lot of heavy topics, and it got some criticism for the topics that it did cover, but I think it did it with enough poise and elegance that it actually resonated with a lot of people. So those are definitely some of my favorite shows right now. Trying to think of everything else right now. There's so many shows out there.
What do you think of your anime of the year for 2024?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I'm hoping Blue Lock is up there. I'm also trying to think of like what was. I feel like Free Ren will probably have a good chance at kind of hitting at least maybe runner up or at least place for
Didn't
best
they
of
get it
2024.
last year?
Was that last year? Was Free Ren last year or this year? I can't even
I
remember.
think they got
honestly.
it last year. I think they got anime of the year last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Then yeah, maybe it wasn't. Maybe that wasn't. I don't know.
I hope Solo Leveling gets at least a little nudge, man. I really did enjoy Solo Leveling.
Yeah, me too. And it might get the additional bump because I know that the movie for Solo Leveling is coming out. I think
January.
either first. Is it January? I thought it was December. Okay. But like hopefully if people go see the movie, if they didn't watch like the series, I think the movie is kind of just a condensed version of the first season. So hopefully if people go see the movie, maybe they'll be like, oh, this is great. I'll vote for it maybe.
How do you feel about that when they do things like that? Like Demon Slayer has been doing a lot of that. Like they come out with these movies, but then the movies be basically episode 1, 2 of their next season. Do you feel like that hurts or does the series justice?
I think it definitely actually helps the series because for some people that don't necessarily want to sit down and like watch 26 episodes of an entire series, they can say like, hey, here's this movie. It can kind of give you just a little bit a taste of like what the story is all about, who these characters are, what they're going through. I kind of just wish it was a little bit more communicative, like what the movies are, because sometimes they are just condensed versions of the seasons, maybe with a few extra scenes thrown in. And then sometimes they're completely their own storyline and they're just totally different, off the wall, crazy hijinks of the characters. And I'm like, can there just be some communication here? Like, so we know what we're watching? But yeah, so I would say overall, I think it helps.
All right. Are there any anime shows ongoing or coming out that you would like to be a part of?
Gosh.
That you have on your bucket list, maybe?
I mean, not that I don't know if I'd have much of a chance at being in this one, but I know it's kind of hitting the internet like crazy. Dadan is really popular right now, but I'm pretty sure recording for that is done out of LA, not Texas. So unless I get taken out to LA and I can do some recording out there, I don't think I'll have a shot, but that would be really cool. And actually that would probably be my guess for best of 2024, just because of how crazy online it's been. Aside from that though, I would love to work on My Hero Academia at some point. I know that we're kind of reaching the end point of My Hero Academia, but getting to be a part of that at some point would be really, really cool.
That's going to be really interesting where people rank that when it's all said and done, because My Hero Academia has been such a fun ride. It's been really enjoyable. A lot of people, I feel like, gravitated to it. And the last few seasons has been chef kiss, some of the best anime and backstories I've seen. So I'm excited. I would love to see you on My Hero Academia, man. That would be dope. We got about one more season, I think. Maybe a movie left, man. I hate to see it go. Are there any lines that resonate with you from any one of your characters on a personal level?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of specific lines. Well, I wouldn't say specific lines, but just moments of the series I mentioned before, Higehiro. The character of Yoshida kind of has a lot of like sobering life takes and just kind of one-liners that he gives to both the titular female character and a lot of his friends throughout the series. He's kind of like the voice of reason to everyone in his life. So I wouldn't say it's really any like specific line with him, but it's just ways he treats the people in his life. For example, there's a scene in one of the episodes where the girl he has taken in to care for him or care for her, she's kind of putting up a front and acting like she's trying to be like happy and joyful, even though he can kind of see through it and he knows that she's feeling some pain and hurt. So he kind of just says like, don't use those fake smiles around me because I can see through them. And
I love it.
yeah, and that kind of like shocks her into being like, oh, this guy is not going to fall for the front I put in front of him. Maybe I can be a bit more honest with myself and with him. So that's kind of what starts like the deepening of their friendship and relationship from there. And he has a lot of other moments like that, and I'm blanking on a lot of other things that I know have resonated with me and been really inspiring to me. But I know there's just a laundry list of stuff out there.
All right, we're gonna run through a couple of titles of anime shows until we get to that number one title. Let's do it. JJK or Black Clover?
Oh, I'm gonna say JJK, but I only because I have slightly more familiarity with it, and that's not much, but I do have more familiarity with it, so JJK.
JJK or Demon Slayers?
Demon Slayer, I have more familiarity with. I think if I watched more JJK, I would, but Demon Slayer for me.
Dragon Ball or Demon Slayer?
Oh, people are gonna hate me. I would say Demon Slayer, but that's only because, again, like a lot of other shows, I'm actually not a huge Dragon Ball buff. I'm sure if I watched it, I'd be like, nah, Dragon Ball all the way.
Demon Slayer or One Punch Man?
Oh, I gotta say Demon Slayer. I did like One Punch Man, but I don't think I got into it as much as anybody else did.
Demon Slayer or Bleach?
Bleach is a classic. I gotta go with Bleach.
Bleach or Cowboy Bebop?
Cowboy Bebop. Sorry, that just wins out. Super classic. So good. Oh,
Cowboy Bebop or One Piece?
I'm gonna say Cowboy Bebop, and I know One Piece has much more history and legacy, and I've gotten to be in One Piece, but I need to actually watch the entirety of One Piece for me to give an actual opinion on it.
All right, Cowboy Bebop or Full Metal Alchemist?
Oh, that's hard. That's hard. Uh I it's like neck and neck for me, but I think Cowboy Bebop kind of just edges just a bit further. Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop or Naruto?
Cowboy Bebop. Sorry, Naruto.
Cowboy Bebop or Blue Lock?
I'm gonna be biased. Sorry. Sorry, Cowboy Bebop. Blue Lock right now, just right now. Just right now. Like, years down the line, it'll probably still be Cowboy Bebop, but Blue Lock right now.
Blue Lock or Solo Leveling?
Blue Lock. I do like solo leveling, but I think Blue Lock is a little bit more exciting.
Blue Lock or Kaiju number 8?
That's hard too. Both are really good. Both are really good. Blue Lock though.
Blue Lock or oh man, I don't Chainsaw Man.
Ah, that one's good too. That's same position as kind of Kaiju, but Blue Lock wins out for me.
Blue Lock or Haikyuu?
Oh, good choice. Good choice. No, I would say Blue Lock. Haikyuu is
And
definitely
Blue
getting
Lock
up
is
there.
the
Yeah.
winner. Let's
Woo!
go.
Let's
Man,
go.
let's get it. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I truly appreciate you, man. This is our episode with Alex Hom. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Please, it does the channel justice. Let us know in the comment section who you would like to see first, and let people know where they can find you at on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say thank you so much for having me on, dude. This was fantastic, and I love talking with you. But if anybody wants to reach out to me or follow me, my handles on most social medias, Twitter, X, Instagram, and a few other things. It's going to be ACK, so it's ACK underscore its underscore Alex. So that's where you can find me on most social medias. But yeah, Sounds great, man.
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming by. And heroes, villains, don't forget to love yourself, pass that love on, and love others. And if nobody told you so, just know your boy love you. Until next time, we're out of here.
Sing it with me, pretty Cali.